So one of the more perplexing aspects of college football this season, in my opinion, has been the Oklahoma Sooners offense. Because if you look at where that offense ranks nationally, this is one of the top offenses in the nation. However, if you ask Oklahoma fans, they are not pleased. Today, we've got to talk about an aspect of this offense that's really started to hit the ground running, especially over the previous two games, and why this individual could be a massive catalyst for OU's offense going forward. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you excited to see Gavin Sawchuck's production absolutely spike over the previous two games? Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions seem small. They are massive to content creators such as myself. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And as I alluded to in the intro, the Oklahoma offense is kind of perplexing in my opinion, because statistically, it ranks as one of the best units in the nation, but Oklahoma fans are not pleased with how it's currently operating. And I think one of the things that we need to take into account is that Oklahoma's offense took a little bit of a step back whenever Andrell Anthony went down with injury. He was a major part of that offense. He allowed them to get vertical and vertical quickly. And whenever he went down, it kind of went back to the drawing board for the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, they have talented wide receivers in that room. That is not the question. It's just a lack of experience in trying to get those guys that experience that they need. But talent, it's certainly there. You look at Petaway, you look at Anderson, you look at Gibson. There's a lot of talented guys in that room, not to mention a Brennan Thompson, not to mention a Drake Stoops. But for some of those guys, lack of experience is really the thing that's been holding them back, and there's only one way to get experience. But we're not going to be talking about the wide receiver room today, because even though I think that they need to be giving Jaleel Farouk a lot of looks, because I think he is a huge part of this offense, and I think anytime the offense starts getting centric around him, especially in terms of which wide receiver they're targeting, they start having a lot more success. There's another area of this offense that's really stepped up. During the early portion of the year, in fact, it was the one area of the offense that I kept sitting here and questioning, wondering who will step up, what is happening. We saw Oklahoma's running backs do a great job against Florida State, and then we never saw it coming back into this season. Now, Tawee Walker has been fantastic. He has really picked up the slack. He has really willed the Sooners' rush attack into a place where they can find some level of success. But he needed someone else to step up, and insert Gavin Sawchuck, because over the previous two games, Gavin Sawchuck has really started to surge, and he could be a massive catalyst to this offense. Anything that Jeff Lebby can have to keep a defense honest is something that's going to make his job a lot easier, and especially someone like Gavin Sawchuck, who you can get involved in so many different facets. Him having an increased role in this offense, I think, will take pressure off of every single aspect of the offense. The passing game, the running game, everything, because he has the ability to do it all. But I think that whenever we're talking about Gavin Sawchuck, the easiest way to understand his massive increase in production and why it's so beneficial is to look at the numbers. Because through Sawchuck's first 6 games that he played this season, he had 34 carries for 127 yards. Once again, that's in his first 6 games that he played in this season. 34 carries for 127 yards. Over the previous 2 games, he has 35 carries and 246 yards. Over the season, he has 69 carries, 373 yards, the overwhelming majority of the production coming during the previous 2 games, which tells me he's starting to surge at the right time. Oklahoma's offense needed someone to step up, and here someone is, stepping up at the running back position. I think this is massive. Because when Andrell Anthony went down, you knew you had Farouk, you knew you had Stoops, but once again, we were asking the same question we came into the year asking. Who's going to step up outside of those names? We know you have Anderson. We know you have Gibson. It's just about getting those dudes the experience they need, because they are going to be phenomenal football players. The tight end room has not been as strong as many people anticipated. I thought Austin Stogner coming in was a massive move, because I had serious questions about Oklahoma's tight end depth going into the season. it seems now that Austin Stogner, though he hasn't had the season many people anticipated, we can only imagine what that tight end room would look like absent Austin Stogner. Because if Oklahoma fans aren't pleased with how the tight ends have been playing now, just imagine if you didn't have that veteran guy that's been able to at least give you something and has been the guy that your coaching staff has looked to time and time again. That tells you that if Brent Venables continues okaying putting him in, that means Brent Venables knew they needed a lot of help in that tight end room. And I'm really interested to see how they identify that moving forward, because that is an area where they need more production and it's just not being given right now. But Gavin Sawchuck can alleviate some of that pressure. And this is why we need to talk about it. Because Gavin Sawchuck was a guy that heading into this year, many in the Oklahoma fan base were incredibly excited to see, along with Javonte Barnes. Now, Javonte Barnes hasn't been able to get fully healthy, but point still stands. Sawchuck is now emerging as a central piece of this offense, and I think it's massive for the Oklahoma Sooners, especially with the move to the SEC on the horizon. You have got to start getting down your identity fully. And whenever Andrell Anthony went down, there were a few weeks where it didn't look like this Oklahoma offense had an identity. And now they're starting to get back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, this is what we are, this is who we want to be, and this is how we can go about achieving what we are and who we want to be. And that's huge. Because you can't do anything if you don't understand who you are. And we're starting to figure out who this Oklahoma offense is, and it's with the emergence of the running game. If Tawee Walker can get back from his little nagging injury and you can have a 1-2 punch of Gavin Sawchuck and Tawee Walker, I think it could get dangerous, because Tawee Walker runs with a ton of heart. He wants to get the job done, and it shows whenever he gets the ball. I think this could be big for the Oklahoma offense. I think it could be massive for them trying to figure out what comes next in the wide receiver room as well. If you have running backs you can kind of hang your hat on, it allows for an easier development of every aspect of your offense, in my opinion. And that's why it's so important that Gavin Sawchuck emerge in this offense, because he's a fantastic running back. He's got the youth. He's got a bit of experience, and that experience is being put and shown right now. But you have got to find an identity. And Gavin Sawchuck is helping the Sooners find their identity once again. Hop down to the comments to let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you think about Jeff Lebby. There's a lot of talks about will he be there next year, won't he be there next year, and I can't wait to hear from all of you, because when I get back a little bit healthier where I can do a full dedicated stream again, we're going to talk about that. But until then, hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See you.